Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining this session, Delivering Agility through MACH. My name is Girish Sahukar. I am the Vice President of Digital at Dawn Foods.
And I am Paul Richardson, a Director of Delivery Management here at EPAM. A little bit of background on us. So we're 28 years old, growing steadily all that time. I myself am coming up on 7 years here at EPAM. We're very engineering focused, and that's really what's drawn in, is that it's in our DNA. EPAM is one of the founding members of MACH, and it's been a very important initiative for us.
Dawn Foods is a 101-year-old company. We were founded in 1920 in Jackson, Michigan as a bakery. Today, we are still headquartered in Jackson, Michigan. We are a global manufacturer and distributor of bakery ingredients. This is cake mixes, donut mixes, filling, icing, glazing, anything that professional bakers need to make their products and sell them to consumers. We supply those ingredients to the bakers. We do business in over 100 countries around the globe, and we are a large, one of the largest bakery, and specifically focused on bakery products in the world. A few years ago, we started to ask the question, we've done business a certain way for almost 100 years. What do we need to do to stay relevant and in business for the next 100 years of our journey? And a lot of those questions and discussions and dialogue led us to starting a digital innovation hub and initiating a e-commerce solution that allowed our customers to self-service and transact online with Dawn. A quick overview here of our architecture and what we did to get to this architecture. We started down this journey in late 2019. We looked at a whole lot of e-commerce platforms, and we asked ourselves, what is the most relevant and future forward design? And we talked to pretty much all of the e-commerce platforms out there, and without any disagreement amongst them, they all said they're working on enabling their platforms to be microservices based, or microservices first, or microservices led, API driven, you name it. API blank, insert your own verb there. Kind of phrase that everyone was, working towards. Either they were in process of redesigning, re-engineering, re-architecting their platforms, or they were building a new platform from the ground up to get there. We essentially took a step back at that point and said, if all of the e-commerce platforms are telling us that this is the future architecture for e-commerce, and this is what drives agility in e-commerce, we should adopt that architecture. We should not try to build on a monolith or something else. We should just adopt the API-driven architecture. So we essentially created an architecture that was all, MACH principle based. And then we asked the question, what technologies, platforms, vendors are out there that are compliant with this approach and with this architecture? And we ended up choosing Commerce Tools as our e-commerce platform. And from there, we also layered on Content Stack as our content management platform, and Salsify as our CMS. We worked with internal and external advisors to come up with this stack. We leveraged a lot of the industry best practices, capabilities available, and knowledge out there to define a very objective selection process and chose the best scoring vendors out there within our selection process, essentially with the intent that these platforms and technologies are fit for the purpose of Dawn, that they will serve the needs of our customers for the next 3 to 5 years. And we can continually innovate and iterate on these platforms. It also allows us to control the architecture and the roadmap, because we are not reliant on a external vendor to derive new capabilities and new functionalities. If Commerce Tools releases new functionality, we just roll those in. If Content Stack releases new functionality, we roll those in. They are simple API tweaks and changes within our own environment, and we are able to roll those in fairly rapidly. On the right here, we're showing a application architecture. This is very, very similar to the reference architecture that Commerce Tools and Google Cloud has very recently published. This is, once you look at Google Cloud and the Commerce Tools and all of the services and how do you want to leverage them and be a first-class citizen in the cloud, you will essentially end up with an architecture like this. In our architecture, we have a front-end application. It's a custom built application using React.js. It runs on App Engine. We have a API gateway that orchestrates and handles all the communication between the front end and the various microservices that we have. Those are our custom services that are layered on top of Commerce Tools and our own enterprise services. And we have leveraged Google's Dataflow, which is a Apache Spark implementation managed service that Google provides to handle a lot of the sort of offline back and forth data communication between our e-commerce solution and our enterprise and third-party applications. We also leverage a lot of the Cloud Pub Sub capabilities to do some messaging and interactions between services, so that we're really not scheduling anything manually.
All right, so I want to just jump to the build and the pre-launch. So I met Garish at the end of 2019 and learned about Dawn. I was really excited about it, not just because of the mock, but also because we were doing a truly greenfield implementation, which is pretty rare these days to come across. We were given a July 1st launch deadline, and so knowing that, we put together a great team. We recognized that we had these constraints of time and capacity, and focused then on scope and what we could do for a true MVP. We still needed a cohesive commerce solution in that time. Obviously, there was nothing currently there. We were still hiring the team and everything else, so it was quite a feat. Mock meant, though, that we were able to deliver features faster. We were able to fail faster too. An example of that is, I remember in maybe around sprint 3 or 4, we were demoing the sprint work, and one of the user journeys was failing. And we were actually able to continue on. Normally that would mean we'd have to delay that user journey until the next sprint or a later time. But we were able to move on to the next one. And in the back end, the developers actually located the issue, made the fix, and deployed it to the demo environment during the demo without any impact to that demo. And ultimately, we came back and successfully demoed it. It allowed us to rapidly innovate and do things like, for example, we switched our database technology partway through. We were initially with Postgres and switched out to use MySQL. And again, very minimal impact and quite easy. We ended up launching a whole week and a half ahead of schedule. We had no major issues. It was exceptionally well received, and it was a great project. But that was just the beginning, because our next major release occurred just 3 weeks later. We had started it in parallel with the launch of the site, and since then we've moved into a monthly cadence. We've released 10 major releases and with 40 minor updates. It's interesting. We release monthly at the request of the business. They're not able to handle change faster than that, and that's the request, is that we do it monthly. So instead, we release after each sprint to the internal to the business, and they're able to review and provide that feedback, and then we release to the market after the next sprint to get our monthly releases. Another interesting thing is, after our sprint, we were releasing within 5 days, and that was including a weekend. And that's another area where the business actually requested us to delay and release 10 days after the end of the sprint. And I think that's one of the great things about MACH. It's not the IT team dictating on releases and when things should happen like that. Instead, we get out of the way, and it's up to the business to decide when they want those things, how soon they want them, what time they need. And again, that just speaks, the overall architecture has been so reliable and consistent. We've been able to pivot extremely quickly, again, from the time that an idea comes up to the time that it is in production is quite small. And if it's important enough and we deliver it as a minor change, it's an even shorter amount of time. With those minor changes too, we are able to do those midday. There's no impact on the user experience when we release them, and there's no downtime. So it's extremely flexible architecture, and really has been a great experience overall.
So we've talked about agility in the more traditional sense from a technology perspective so far. What does it mean from a business sense? It allows us to, when we do the release to sales, we are doing an internal release to a whole lot of people that are working with our customers. As a B2B company, we have sales reps, we have customer service reps that are interacting with our customers on a daily basis. So we release to that audience, and we put all these features, capabilities in front of them a long time before it gets in front of a customer. By long time, I mean about a week or 10 days before our customers see it. So it gives them the opportunity to see the feature, to internalize the way it works, to be able to create their own narratives around how they are going to talk about the capability that is upcoming to their customers. Our sales reps are in the field. They meet customers every day. So they have an opportunity to talk about these exciting features on a daily basis with their customers. It changes the relationship between the customer and the sales rep from a order-taking relationship, which is traditional B2B, to a more advisory role from Dawn to our customer. We can help them on a whole nother aspect of being able to grow their business rather than just taking orders from them, giving them ideas, helping them with tips, trends, techniques. We have seen a lot of that pay off in different ways. About a quarter of all of the orders that we receive at Dawn as a company are coming through the website that we launched last July. The average order value of online orders is higher than the orders that we take offline. It again shows you the breadth of the visibility that the customers get from an e-commerce solution helps drive your business higher. Our customers have told us that that they for the first time in their business interaction with Dawn, they can see the entire portfolio of products that Dawn offers. A lot of our customers told us in some very early feedback that they did not know that Dawn carried a certain item, that they were using a different vendor for just that one item. So customers are consolidating their vendors. They are able to bring more and more of their product needs to Dawn. They're browsing the site. They're looking for new products. They're looking for new ideas. As more and more cities around US reopen, they're looking for what will help them stand out. And there's a whole lot of new ideas that we are coming up with to help them stand out. And a lot of this is helping them with the e-commerce site that we built is helping them with those kind of ideas. We can provide marketing content. Our marketing content goes from our CMS to the site. There is no need for developers to be involved. It is completely off hands as far as developers are concerned. So the content publishing process is simplified. The product publishing process has been automated. All of these improve our business agility. We can go from a idea that somebody mentions in one of the training or change management sessions to a release of that idea within about 4 weeks, which is extremely quick. We just have to ensure that our team, our sales team is ready to take that feature and run with it, and make sure that our customers are able to get their hands on it. And the architecture and the approach that we've laid out also allows for expansion in a whole lot of different directions. We can bring on new services and integrations, loyalty, promotion, search, merchandising, all great capabilities. There are MACH compliant vendors. MACH Alliance has a lot of these types of vendors getting certified all the time. So we look to that as our first point of reference to see, what vendors will fit into this architecture. When we started out on this journey, we had to pick those vendors. We had to do the assessment ourselves. MACH Alliance has made that step go away, because you can go look at who's a part of the MACH Alliance and the vendors that will fit into this architecture. Thank you, MACH Alliance. We also know that there are other cloud native capabilities that we can take advantage of. Vision API, we're doing something with. Voice API, we've prototyped that in the past. The contact center API is something that we're actively investigating. There are machine learning possibilities because we're on Google Cloud, and Google Cloud has some pretty cutting edge ML capabilities that we can take advantage of. And you don't have to disrupt the core e-commerce solution that you have in place. You're augmenting and you're orchestrating it through your API gateway, because all of these new capabilities are API led or API driven. So you're integrating with APIs, and you're not redesigning your entire application to fit one particular vendor or one particular feature. So your time to market with all of these things will be really short.
All right.
With that, thank you for having us here at Modern Commerce Day. Hope you're getting a lot out of all the sessions, and we look forward to any questions.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Garesh and Paul. That was great.
Thanks for having us, Kelly. This was fantastic.
Yeah, excited to be here. Thank you.
So Garesh and Paul are actually both very involved with the MACH Alliance. So I wanted to take a second and thank them for that. Garesh is a MACH Alliance ambassador. And then EPAM is actually a founding member along with Commerce Tools of the MACH Alliance. So we're very much appreciative of your support of the initiative. And love to see you help building this with us. So thank you again for that.
Yeah, we're proud to be supporting MACH Alliance.
We have a few questions from the audience, and I'll start with you, Garesh. So why did you select GCP as your cloud, and why did you go with a single cloud strategy versus multi-cloud strategy?
Well, we chose to start with GCP because it fit into the architecture. At the end of the day, we wanted the the way we access the cloud to be no different than the way we would have accessed the application and the application talking to all of the other pieces within our landscape. So GCP provided the best, complete suite of APIs to take advantage of right from the beginning. That's not to say we built something so specific that we could only use GCP. There's almost nothing that we've built that is exclusively going to run on GCP. We could, if we wanted to run this on a different cloud, it would take a little bit of effort because everything is scripted as a, it's a infrastructure as a service. So we could take advantage of another cloud provider if we wanted to, but we've seen GCP be very reliable with highly available regionally across different regions, and it suits our approach and methodology here really, really well.
Yeah, well said. And there's a reason we chose GCP as our primary cloud at Commerce Tools, and I think it's many of those same reasons that you've outlined here. So that's great. Another question for you, Guresh, is what is one lesson you've learned about MACH, having successfully completed an implementation and having it live for a while now?
Yeah, I think we could do an entire session on just this. What were our learnings? We've had just so many. The speed to market. We talked about it in our presentation a little bit about release to sales and release to market, and that. We have intentionally, phased it in a way that we could allow our team to absorb and digest. You have to bring your entire, user base, your internal users and your external customers along with you for the journey. So you could, MACH allows you to be very agile, very fast. You could make more changes and more releases and provide even more velocity out of this. The key learning for us was to understand that there's a big change management effort behind this, and to make sure that the change management process was incorporated and baked into what we were doing. So we deliberately made some of these release type of decisions upfront, and that was a key learning for us to make sure that we brought our customers and users along.
Well said. So Paul, at EPAM, you do a lot of traditional implementations as well as MACH-based implementations, which is fine. I mean, you're a gigantic company. I understand it. But how do you approach the two different styles of implementations? If you've got a legacy monolithic commerce platform from one of the big vendors out there versus more of a Commerce Tools MACH-based implementation, how do you approach those two differently?
Well, I'd say that our experience with MACH, we're able to just develop faster is the first thing. Like with the monolith, a lot of things have to be in lockstep. Even within the side of Sprint, you have to be aware of when deployments are happening. And, we talk about the different blue, green and whatnot. We've been able to, like when we're doing the MACH implementation, we've been seeing the deploys, happen while the testers are testing, and it just sort of there's no sort of downtime to them. So the speed in which that things are tested is much faster. That is sort of the same theme at the end of the project too. From feature complete to launch on a monolith can be a bit of a slog, right? As you get through the various larger UAT phases and all of that, just because everything kind of moves a bit slower. And with MACH, our time was quite short, as you saw from the graph that we were in production, sort of 3 weeks after we ended our feature development, which I've never seen on a larger monolith project. So just that fail fast, recover fast, and build faster.
Yeah, it's very iterative as opposed to more of that waterfall style of approach. So it can be quite liberating.
Absolutely.
And a question for Guresh. So how have you been building up competency in-house? Because as you mentioned during your session, your group is basically a startup within a much larger, older company. and it's not like you have a big stable of developers in-house. So how do you handle staffing up your internal team, and what do you want to partner with on with EPAM and others versus do in-house yourself? Like, where do you draw that line?
Yeah, the way we've thought about this is we work with our partner EPAM. They bring a lot of great advice and insights to us, and that's traditionally how we've thought about it. Working with an SI, we look at them as our partners, and we look at them as our trusted advisors. They have the scale and the breadth, they have the size of team, they have visibility into the broader B2B industry and other customers, right? So they're seeing a lot of the innovation and a lot of advances that's happening. We want to learn from them on those things, and we want them to help inform us on that industry trends and so on. The way we think about our internal team is to provide architectural guidance and provide hands-on development capacity in some areas that we think that are core that we need to own, and we will augment our team. Obviously, we have a small development team. We will augment that team with a SI like EPAM that we're using. We want to be mindful. We will never be able to have a full staff of internal team. It's really not our intent to have that full staff team in-house. I think that's that becomes a pretty large team if we ever went to that. I don't think we could support or justify that. We'll continue to partner with SIs like EPAM in the future. They also bring some niche sort of skills and areas in some of the innovation ideas that we think about, and that experience and skill and forward thinking is absolutely necessary for us moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's the right approach. Like, nobody wants to do everything in-house, and nobody wants to partner with someone to have them do everything for you. So I think you've kind of struck a good balance there. With that, we are out of time for Q&A. So thank you both for your session and for the Q&A, and look forward to seeing more out of Dawn Foods and your continued success together. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.